Chapter 105. 1 Year of Enlightened Blade. Now, Kang Chon, on the other hand, did not hesitate to choose his path to the imperial capital, which was undoubtedly a crazy decision. Was Kang Chon crazy? This was clearly impossible. He was doing this in order to hone himself, using the countless demonic beasts in the forest of demonic beasts to hone his practical combat abilities. In addition, he would also have to perceive the blade technique in this place. If he wanted to comprehend the blade technique, it was impossible to lack battles, and the forest of demonic beasts was the best place to do so. Even Emperor Dun agreed that he should come here to hone his skills, as there were countless demonic beasts here, which also had countless demonic pills, as well as a wide variety of medicinal herbs, all of which were things that alchemists could only dream of. Emperor Dun also had to look for some materials in here to help Kang Chon refine some pills suitable for cultivation. Since those yuan condensation pills had been used up, Kang Chon had no more pills to supply for cultivation so far. And if Kang Chon wanted to raise his cultivation even higher before the Heavenly Daosek's disciple acceptance ceremony, then pills were absolutely indispensable. Forest of demonic beasts, here I come. Kang Chon looked at the endless forest in front of him and stepped into it with great strides. Inside, he would be spending more than a year. While Kang Chon stepped into the forest of demonic beasts and began a period of arduous cultivation, Heavy Iron City was thrown into a hubbub because of him. That was because, after more than a month's time, Kang Chon's glorious battle results in Fengdu City had already spread to Heavy Iron City. The title of the Three Kings of Fengdu had once again made him a household name, Heavy Iron City, and he was even honored as a role model for the young generation of Heavy Iron City, as well as the object of admiration for all. In fact, it wasn't just Heavy Iron City. During this period of time, Fengdu City had become the object of attention for the entire cultivation world of the Great Tang country. So every move that happened in Fengdu City had spread throughout the entire cultivation world of the Great Tang country. Kang Chon had become famous in one battle and was listed as one of the three kings of Fengdu, on par with the four masters of the imperial capital, becoming another young supreme powerhouse of the Great Tang cultivation world. Nowadays, even in the imperial capital, there were many people who knew of the existence of Kang Chon, this mysterious youth, and in the imperial capital's Li family, that seventh elder who had made an appointment with Kang Chon had naturally learnt of this matter, and he immediately looked incomparably ugly. Originally, he had already forgotten about that ignorant kid from Heavy Iron City who had challenged him, but now he had to face up to the fact that the youth he had ignored had grown to the point where he could threaten him. I should have known that I should have put an end to it in the first place. Li Laoqi's face was gloomy. Now the imperial capital about his appointment with Kang Chon has been spreading. He just wants to do it secretly, can't. After all, there is no impermeable wall in the world. Of course, what really makes Li Laoqi afraid is still Jin San Shao. The matter of his appointment with Kang Chon is not known to many people in the imperial capital. All this is Jin San Shao planning behind the scenes, making it known to everyone. In this way, even the Li family had to face up to this matter before Kang Chon and his duel. The Li family even had to worry about Kang Chon's safety, otherwise the world will definitely say that they're Li family secretly killers. Then the reputation of the Li family will be ruined. Li Laoqi couldn't help but feel angry in his heart that damnable Jin San Shao was still so resourceful. He had completely forced him to a dead end. There was only one way to fight Kang Chon. Not long after, Li Yuanba found Li Laoqi and handed him a dragon pearl. Don't disgrace the Li family, or I won't let you go even if you are my elder, Li Yuanba said coldly, then left behind this dragon pearl, which was given to him by the old city lord of Fengdu. Because back then, the old city lord of Fengdu owed the Li family a favor. Li Laoqi received the dragon bead with an ugly face, and a fierce light flashed in his eyes. Little beast, so what even if you are a genius? Old me will slaughter you as a genius in public. This time, humph. Lile Oki took the dragon bead and then closed the door. The power contained in this dragon pearl was massive, enough to allow him to progress another level and reach the 8th level of the Jiden stage. He didn't believe that with the strength of the 8th level of the Jiden stage, he still couldn't solve a young man who didn't have Jiden. While Lileoki was in seclusion, the matter of his appointment with Kangchon was being discussed everywhere in the imperial capital. Following the battle at Fendu Mountain, this would be another high point in the great Tang cultivation world. Everyone was looking forward to it. At the Jin family in the imperial capital, Jin Sanxiao was sitting with Master Feng Yuan. Sanxiao, this time your tactics are a bit more drastic. Those old guys in the Li family are furious, Master Feng Yuan said smilingly, then sighed. I didn't think that the little guy at the beginning had already ranked among the 3 kings of Fendu. It's really impressive when a scholar is separated for 3 days. Hee. The Li family wants to stand above my Jin family when they got a Li Chunjia. How can I not return the favor? Third young master. Jin Sanxiao laughed eerily. You are trying to use this incident to strike the prestige of the Li family. Once Li Laoqi loses to Kangchon in full view of everyone, along with the Li family's prestige. Wind Edge Master sniffed indistinctly. Then he could not help but be shocked at Jin Sanxiao's sophisticated planning. This kid is simply a demon. Hee. Tomorrow I will send people to build the life and death platform. Prepare the venue for their duel. You give me notice to those gambling houses below the Jin family. Now start to open. This young man this time only want the Li family to lose face, but also want to ruthlessly make a big profit. Jin Sanxiao narrowed his eyes and laughed. On the side, Master Feng Yuan couldn't help but shiver. He knew that the imperial capital was going to be lively this time. There were quite a few cultivators roaming around the edge of the forest of demonic beasts, but the further inside, it was less crowded, because the strength of the demonic beasts that roamed the depths of the forest of demonic beasts was at least above the Jiden stage. Ordinary cultivators simply did not dare to go deeper. This time Kangchon wanted to go directly through the forest of demonic beasts to the imperial capital. Naturally, he had to approach the depths of the forest of demonic beasts. For this trip to the forest of demonic beasts, Kangchon's line was very simple, a dirt-colored warrior's uniform that made him not so conspicuous in the middle of the forest. He held a long black sword and traveled barefoot, cutting through thorns and thistles along the way. His speed was not fast. Kid, there's a yawning stage tiger demon ahead. Go around from the left. Emperor Dan's voice came from his mind, and Kangchon instantly followed the instructions to travel the path. Although he was stepping into the depths of the forest of demonic beasts, with Emperor Dan's massive divine thoughts probing outside, he could carefully avoid some powerful demonic beasts. Therefore, within the month he had entered the forest of demonic beasts, he had not suffered any dangers. An ordinary Jiden stage demonic beasts were not even a match for one of his slashes. Cleaving and slashing are the most basic movements of making a sword, so I will start practicing from this most basic movement. And then step by step, I will incorporate the intention of the Overlord Fist and comprehend my own Tao of the sword. In this month, Kangchon constantly practiced chopping wherever he passed. He didn't know how many big trees in the forest had been chopped off by him. Fortunately, this world didn't have a forest protection law, or else he would have been arrested a long time ago. Kangchon started practicing from the most basic movements of the sword, but he was not practicing to death, but very cleverly incorporated the intention of the Overlord Fist. And after getting a long time, his Tao of the sword naturally came into being. For this kind of thinking of Kangchon, Emperor Dan was very praised. He couldn't help but sigh at Kangchon's superhuman enlightenment. No wonder he was able to persist in 9 failed attempts to build the foundation in the first place, and didn't give up. Kangchon, who had been an orphan since childhood, in addition to possessing strong beliefs, He also possessed a cleverness and perceptiveness that was difficult for his peers to reach, which was perhaps also the powerful talent of Kang Chon's hegemonic blood possessor. Emperor Dan watched Kang Chon slowly grow step by step, his heart filled with emotion. He knew that in the near future, the Flood continent would definitely be shaken because of this youth. And now, this youth is the sounding rising sun that is slowly rising into the firmament. In the midst of cultivation, Kang Chon did not care about the loss of time. In spring, he smelled the fragrance of the 100 flowers and listened to the spring rain. He felt that his sword should be as brilliant as the 100 flowers and as endless and unending as the spring rain. In summer, Kang Chon sat under a waterfall, letting the flying stream wash over him, as if to cleanse his mind and burn the Tao of the sword. By autumn, Kang Chon walked alone, his heart filled with a blanket of depression, and every slash he made was tinged with a deep sense of despair. He knew that he was not far from success. At this time, it had already been a year since Kang Chon entered the forest of demonic beasts. His cultivation had already reached the peak of the 8th turn without him even realizing it, and he was only half a step away from entering the realm of the 9th turn. When winter came, the entire forest of demonic beasts was covered in ice and snow. The snow-white earth was silent, but in the midst of this silence, there was a pair of ice-cold eyes watching Kang Chon traveling. Kang Chon held a sword and walked slowly. His eyes were indifferent. His expression was as usual, as if he didn't see the pair of ice-cold eyes hidden in the dark. In the end, Kang Chon disappeared into this snowy land, and that pair of icy eyes also slowly disappeared. These ferocious snow wolves that roamed the forest of demonic beasts did not attack towards Kang Chon, because they recognized the long black blade in Kang Chon's hand. It was a demonic blade infested with the blood of 10,000 wolves, and none of the snow wolves could forget that that day. The snow was heavy, and Kang Chon was besieged by tens of thousands of snow wolves in the slanting valley. These snow wolves have the worst strength of the Jidan stage, which Jidan 5 or 6 layers have a lot of. 10,000 snow wolves covered the sky. I'm afraid that even if the Yuanying stage powerhouse to see also want to set legs to run. But that day, Kang Chon did not have the slightest fear. The black long knife in his hand was like the scythe of the god of death, harvesting the lives of the snow wolves in the snow. That night, the snow flew heavily, and scarlet blood was also spilled all over the sky. And in the end, it was no longer known whether it was the sky that was raining snow or blood. The originally snow-white earth had been flooded with blood, and the carcass of a snow wolf was piled up all over the entire slanting valley. The sky was like an ice-cold demonic god, holding a demonic sword and killing mercilessly. It was a terrifying night. Kang Chon's true essence was exhausted. He performed the star-absorbing technique to absorb the power of a snow wolf, and then it was non-stop killing, until finally, only 1,000 or so remnant wolves were left fleeing into the distance in fear. As for Kang Chon, he was also exhausted and sat in the sloping valley that was flooded with blood to recover from his injuries. This night's bitter battle had allowed Kang Chon's cultivation to become more solid, thus reaching the peak 8th turn realm. At the same time, Kang Chon had also comprehended his own Tao of the blade, hegemony. Whether it was Kang Chon's hegemony blood or not, or the hegemony fist, or the heaven-escaping hand, or even the star-absorbing grand technique, all of them had a hegemony that ordinary people could not comprehend. Kang Chon felt that his future path could only be summed up in one word, and that was hegemony. My Tao is hegemony. My blade is also hegemony. This was Kang Chon's most profound experience, as he thoroughly integrated the hegemony fist's hegemony intent into his blade. And finally, he even integrated his own comprehension of the hegemony intent into it as well. In the end, he created a move of the blade of supreme hegemony. This blade was named by him Heaven Breaking. It meant that it could break the sky with a single slash and could shatter the firmament. The hegemony in this move was interpreted by Kang Charm to the fullest extent. Even the hegemony fist was inferior to it, and it could be considered the most hegemonic blade move ever created. Although the heaven-breaking stance was a new creation, it had unlimited potential and would shine in the future. Even the Dan Emperor had praised it. The strongest manifestation of Broken Sky is the fusion of the idea in the knife, so that in the future, Kang Chon's idea to improve his move Broken Sky will also be more powerful. It can be said that this move is completely growing. As Kang Chon's idea to increase, the power will also increase. Unlimited potential.